It's 264 BC. Rome's just conquered the Italian peninsula and is strutting around like they own the place. Carthage, already actually owning the place. Naval empire, fat trade routes, colonies in Spain, Africa, Sardinia, Corsica, and most of Sicily. These two could have swapped wine and called it peace. Instead, the First Punic War kicks off because a bunch of mercenaries couldn't stop causing trouble. Buckle up. This is the first clash of the Punic Wars. 10 deep, savage, and occasionally elephant-infested facts. 1. The messy Messana meltdown. Back in 288 BC, when the tyrant of Syracuse, Agathocles, dies, his unemployed mercenaries, the Campanian Italians, get restless. So they do what any responsible group of heavily armed, jobless men might do. They seize the city of Messana, modern Messina, slaughter the men, take the women and children as property, and rename themselves Mamertines after Mars, god of war. For years they terrorized Sicily, until King Hiron II of Syracuse finally crushes them at the Longanus River in 264 BC. With their walls closing in, the Mamertines panic and send out desperate pleas for help. Here's the kicker. They send them to both Carthage and Rome. Carthage moves first, landing troops to secure Messana's citadel. Rome's Senate debates help a bunch of violent pirates. But the strategic map is clear. If Carthage holds Messana, they can control the Strait of Messina and threaten southern Italy. The people vote, send the legions. Rome was coming, but their version of help came with handcuffs. 2. Rome's rescue involves kidnapping Appius Claudius, the Roman consul, sends an advance party. They arrive to find Carthaginian commander Hanno already sitting pretty in the fortress. So Claudius invites Hanno to a peace talk, ancient diplomacy at its finest. Once Hanno shows up, boom, he's a hostage. Rome uses him as leverage to boot Carthage out of Messana entirely, replacing them as the city's protectors. The irony? The Mamertines now have Rome in their backyard, arguably a far more dangerous neighbor. This single stunt makes Carthage furious. Their pride's wounded, their navy's insulted, and war is now baked into the menu. And if you think Carthage is mad, Syracuse is about to make a move that would have had sports commentators yelling, "Trade alert." 3. Syracuse pulls a plot twist. At first, King Hiron II of Syracuse backs Carthage. He's been fighting the Mamertines for years and figures the Punic navy is a safer bet. But after Rome defeats his forces outside Messana, he rethinks his odds. In 263 BC, Hiron signs a peace treaty with Rome. Syracuse will become a loyal Roman ally, pay 200 talents in tribute, and supply the legions. Why flip sides? Because Rome's legions were chewing through opponents, and Syracuse didn't want to be next on the menu. With Syracuse's ports open to Roman ships and grain flowing into their camps, Rome now has a secure rear base in Sicily, critical for a long war. Now Rome could turn west, straight into the Lion's Den, Carthage's strongest Sicilian base, the Siege of Agrigentum. Agrigentum, modern Agrigento in southwest Sicily, was Carthage's major stronghold on the island, commanded by Hannibal Gisco. No, not that Hannibal, but still a tough customer. In 262 BC, Rome marches on the city with 40,000 troops, hoping to knock Carthage out early. The siege drags on for 5 months. Carthage sends General Hanno with 50 elephants, 6,000 Numidian cavalry, and fresh troops from Africa. Hanno cuts Roman supply lines, starving the legions. Rome gambles on an all-out assault, breaking Carthage's first line, spooking the elephants, and turning the tide. Hanno retreats, Agrigentum's garrison flees, and Rome storms the city, enslaving 25,000 residents. This is Rome's first big Sicilian win and a psychological blow to Carthage. But the sea is still Punic territory, and the Romans are about to fight on water, despite having all the nautical skill of a desert cactus. 5. Rome's DIY navy. Rome in 262 BC, zero experience at sea. Carthage, masters of the Mediterranean. Rome's solution? Reverse engineer a captured Carthaginian quinquereme down to the last nail. In just 60 days, they crank out a fleet of over 100 ships. But here's the genius twist. They add the Corvus, a giant spiked boarding bridge that lets Roman infantry storm enemy decks. It turns naval battles into land battles, the one arena Rome knows they can dominate. It's like showing up to a swimming competition with a jet ski. Time to see if this floating army actually works. 6. The Battle of Mylae, Rome's first splashy win. In 260 BC, Rome's fledgling navy faces Carthage near Mylae. Gaius Duilius commands the Roman fleet. Carthage assumes the rookie sailors will be easy prey, until the Corvus comes slamming down. Rome hooks enemy ships, swarms aboard, and slaughters the crews. Carthage loses over 30 ships, and Rome celebrates like they've invented the internet. Duilius gets a triumph in Rome, and a victory column decorated with ship rams, bragging rights immortalized in stone. But the Romans aren't done. They're about to throw the biggest naval party in history. 7. The monster battle of Cape Agnomus, 256 BC. Nearly 700 ships, think Lord of the Rings Pelennor Fields, but wetter, collide off the southern coast of Sicily. Rome's fleet sails in a wedge formation to protect its troop transports, while Carthage tries to envelop them. The Corvus once again flips the script, letting Rome turn boarding into an art form. Carthage loses heavily, and Rome now controls the sea lanes to North Africa. The way is clear for the boldest move of the war, invading enemy homeland. And this is where a certain consul gets way too confident for his own good. 8. Regulus's wild ride into Africa. Consul Marcus Attilius. Regulus lands near Carthage, wins at Attis, and starts dictating peace terms like he's Caesar before Caesar was cool. Carthage refuses, hires Spartan mercenaries Xanthippus, and gets a crash course in how to use elephants properly. At the Battle of Tunis, Carthage's cavalry and elephants crush the Roman lines. Regulus is captured. Later, Roman sources claim he's tortured, but details vary. Either way, Rome's African adventure ends in disaster, and they scramble back to Sicily. But if there's one thing Rome has more of than ships or soldiers, it's spite. 9. The Aegates mic drop moment. By 241 BC, both sides are broke and exhausted. Rome, running on private loans, builds one last fleet. They ambush Carthage's resupply convoy at the Aegates Islands, west of Sicily. Carthage's ships are overloaded with cargo and can't maneuver. Rome smashes them, cutting off Carthage's armies in Sicily from reinforcements and supplies. It's checkmate by blockade, and Rome's about to cash in, hard. 10th. Sicily becomes Roman real estate. Carthage signs a humiliating peace. Sicily becomes Rome's first overseas province. Carthage pays 3,200 talents over 10 years, and their navy is gutted. Rome, smelling blood, also grabs Sardinia and Corsica a few years later. The resentment in Carthage is volcanic, especially in the Barca family. Hamilcar Barca starts building a new empire in Spain, raising a son named Hannibal, who will make Rome's worst nightmares look like mild inconveniences. That's the first clash. 20 years of stubbornness, stolen ships, and a crash course in naval warfare. Rome's just getting started, and Carthage's revenge is coming with war elephants and an alpine road trip. If you want more ancient chaos with sharp edges, smash that like button like a Corvus hitting a Carthaginian deck, subscribe for more, and tell me, round 2, Rome or Hannibal?